Brazil are back in the mixer over in the World Cup qualifiers over in South America after back-to-back wins. What about Argentina? Can they be caught at the top of the group? We'll take a look at that and much more next. That's right, folks, back once again with another picture video. Today is all about matchday number 11, that's right, in the World Cup qualifiers over in South America. We'll take a look at it in a second. If you're new, where you been? Smash your subscribe and your one-stop shop for World Cup qualifiers, Blackburn Rovers, world football, all here under one rooski. If you're a Chilean fan, which of course we used to have a big bit of a love for Chile, they are of course rock bottom right now after 5 successive defeats. I think you can really rule them out already for World Cup qualifiers, but it is very spicy, very interesting in the race for those qualification spots. We'll take a look at it in a second. Big shout out to the members, you know who you are, and a big shout out to the patrons, you know who you are. So let's remind ourselves of what's going on in the group, of course, and we review the last round of games. Alright then, folks, let's take a look at those last round of games, and here they are. As you see it, Colombia putting 4 past their woeful Chile, 4-0 in the end. Last time around, I went with the 2-0 win. Ain't too shabby there. Paraguay, big monster win over Venezuela. 2-1 win to give themselves a right old chance. They're actually unbeaten the last 4 now. Coming at you here. Uruguay have fallen off the pace just recently without a win now in the last 4 matches. Argentina, though, no problems there, putting 6 past a resolute, they were rejuvenated Bolivian side, but heavy loss in the end. I'm with a 4-0 win myself. And then Brazil, of course, putting 4 past Peru to make it back-to-back wins for them. Just 1 defeat in the last 4. But what do we have on the agenda for the next round of games? Well, we'll take a look at that in a minute. The table, though, looks like this. As you see it, Argentina are top. But they could be caught this week with Colombia hot on their heels. Uruguay need to get back to winning ways because the likes of Paraguay and Ecuador could oust them very, very soon as well. Don't roll out Bolivia as well, or Venezuela, for squeezing into those top 5 spots. I think it's top 6 go through. 7th place goes into a playoff. So if you're in that bottom 3, yeah, you know, it's quite criminal if you don't qualify here. And Chile should be much better than they are, but unfortunately they look like they're out. Alrighty then, folks, we are looking forward to the next round of games, and here they come with some standouts to look forward to anyway. But let's kick it all off at the top of the shop right there with a trip to Venezuela. Alrighty then, folks, let's take a little look at the next round of games. And there's Venezuela up against Brazil, coming at you on the 14th of November. Venezuela without a win in the last 5 matches up against Brazil, who have won 3 of the last 4. Pretty good right now, sitting in 4th in the table with 16 points to the name. Up against Venezuela, who are in 8th, 11 points to the name. Now, they have played 14 times since 2004, just 1 win for Venezuela. There's been 9 wins for Brazil. There's been 4 draws between the two sides. Speaking of draws, they did draw back in October 2023, which was the last time they played. That was in match number 3 of this very qualifier. So a big point it was for Venezuela, whose last victory, I don't even know when. Besides that draw, it's been pretty much grim stuff for Venezuela against Brazil, who coming into this, though, Brazil on the back of that 4-0 win over Peru. Of course, back-to-back wins for them. Venezuela on the back of a 2-1 loss to Paraguay, of course. Got no odds for this game, but it's going to be a spicy one, I would imagine, a big one if Brazil need to get themselves a little bit closer to secure a couple more points to guarantee their spot in the 2026 World Cup. I think they will get a draw here, just a draw against a Venezuelan side who, down on their luck, but at home will cause a bit of a problem and make it back-to-back draws between these two countries. Next up, we head over to Paraguay as they take on Argentina. Of course, who are top of the charts right now. Now, of course, Paraguay, in an okay spot right now, unbeaten the last 4. They're on 50% form for them over the last 6. Up against Argentina, who've won, just lost once in the last 6, 75% form. But, of course, top the pops with 22 points thus far. They played 18 times since 2004. 3 wins for Paraguay, 8 wins for Argentina. There's been 7 draws between the two sides. They did play in round 3 back in October 2023. It was a 1-0 win for Argentina way back when. It's actually been back to 3 clean sheets on the bounce against Paraguay for Argentina, who coming into this on the back of that 2-1 win over Venezuela. Their last defeat was a shock defeat in the Copa against Costa Rica back in July. Argentina, though, putting 6 past Bolivia, look comfortable in their recent matches. I think they'll win this one as well, despite being on the road. I'm going to go with a 2-1 for Argentina to dent Paraguay's hopes to make the World Cup, but they're still in a good spot to qualify for the tournament anyway. Next up, we head over to Ecuador as they take on Bolivia, coming at you at the Estadio Rodrigo Paz Delgado. Ecuador currently find themselves 5th in the table, 13 points to the name, just one win in the last 6 matches, unbeaten in the last 3. We'll talk about that in a minute. Bolivia, though, 50% form for them right now, winning 3 and losing 3 over the last 6. They just lost once over the last 4, and they're coming into this having played Ecuador 18 times since 2004, with just 1 win for Bolivia, 15 wins for Ecuador. There's been 2 draws, of course. The last time they played was a friendly back in June 2024. They did play each other in Bolivia back in match number 3 of this qualifiers, and it was a 2-1 win for Ecuador. It's been, for at least 6 wins on the bounce for Ecuador against Bolivia. Ecuador on the back of successive 0-0 draws, drawing with Paraguay and then most recently Uruguay. They've only conceded, in fact, they haven't conceded a goal in the last 3. Against Bolivia, though, of course, they were on a good winning streak of 3 games, but they do come into this on the back of a bit of a drubbing against Argentina, 16 it was back in October. Tricky one, this one, over in Ecuador, but I'm going to go with a 2-1 win for Ecuador, again, denting Bolivia's hopes, who currently find themselves in that 7th spot. Still got a chance to get through, basically because of there's at least 2 teams that are really woeful right now. So Bolivia do have a chance, but they need to bounce back and fast, with Paraguay next on the 19th of November. Next up, the game of the round. It is Uruguay. It's Colombia. It's coming at you on the 15th of November at the Estadio Centenario. It's Uruguay under Marcelo Bielsa. They sit 3rd right now, 16 points to the name. However, winless in 5. Up against Colombia, who sits 2nd with 19 points to the name. They're on 58% form, just 2 defeats in the last 6. They played 18 times, these 2 countries, since 1962. 9 wins for Uruguay, 5 wins for Colombia, and there's been 4 draws between the 2 sides. They did play each other in the Copa America knockout. Colombia going through, 1-0 win in the end. The reverse fixture in Colombia back in October was a 2, when I say October 2023, it was a 2-2 draw. Of course, it's been quite tight between these 2 clubs, nations, over the last 4, with a couple of draws and a 1-0 win in the semi-final. Colombia on the back of that 4-0 win over Chile. Uruguay, again, not been good. 5 games without a win. In fact, I don't even know when the actual last win was, but 1, 2, 3, 4 games without a goal. Grim stuff up top for Uruguay. They shouldn't be this concerning, and this is a tricky one to call as well in Uruguay, and I'm going to go with another draw, which doesn't do them any harm or any favours really, as they want to secure their spot in the World Cup. And then finally we head over to Peru in what has been dubbed last chance saloon for both nations, Peru and Chile, who are both 9th and 10th respectively in the CONMEBOL qualifiers. Peru all the way down to 9th with 6 points to the name, up against Chile, who are down into 10th with 5 points to the name. A win would do themselves absolutely the world of good. Peru, though, have coming into this on 1 win in the last 6 matches, 25% form for them right now. Up against Chile on 8% form, losing 5 of the last 6. Not good for them. In fact, they're winless in at least the last 6, probably more than that. Played 23 times since 2003, 6 wins for Peru, 16 wins for Chile. There's been 1 draw between the 2 sides, and that 1 draw was the last time they played. The reversed, it wasn't the reverse fixture, it was in the Copa America back in June 2024. It was a draw in Group A. The reverse fixture in match number 3 was a 2-0 win for Chile. That was in Chile back in October 2023. Chile on the back of that 4-0 loss to Colombia. Peru also losing 4-0 to Brazil last time around. You know, I'd love to see Chile bounce back, but realistically they are lost cause right now. I don't think they'll get this. Well, no, I do. I fooled you all. Oh, yes, I did. That's my acting skills. Consider me up for an Oscar. Oh, yes. Going to go with a 1-0 win for Chile. Last chance saloon. Bounce back ability, and maybe, just maybe, there's still hope in the qualifiers yet for La Roca for 2026. That completes my picks, guys. 1-0 winners, surprise, surprise. Of course, Chile, who they got next? After that, they got Venezuela. That's winnable as well. So maybe, just maybe, they can get themselves out of the woods and into the potential spots for qualifiers. Until then, though, subscribe, smash the like, catch you later. But until then, guys and girls, we are done.